This gun story. But this gun story, let me alert you early. This gun story is a long story. And I don't believe we can finish it today, but we can start. It is important that we start this gun story. What gun story am I talking about? Many of us saw yesterday, right? Arrival day, police swooped down on the residence of the opposition leader, Mr. Azuddin Mohammed. And they claimed that they went there to seize his legal firearms. That is what they went to say. They went there to say they went to seize his legal firearms. Well, they got a lot of things to be discussed from that. I got enough to talk about that. Many things to say. Because then, let me pull up. I don't know, many of you may not have seen this, but let me let me tell you what are the reasons provided for the seizure of this firearm. And this is a letter that was sent by the commander. Before I go further, let me say this. This action yesterday, where the police turned up to seize the firearms, I think they seized 5, belonging to Azuddin Mohammed, the leader of the opposition, and his father. This action ought to have come from the politicians. Let me make it pellucid. Or as some people say, let me make it pellucidly clear. Right? Let me make it pellucid that the Ikin, the puppeteers, would not have initiated that action. The divisional commander would not have initiated that action. That action, or the instruction to carry out action, would have come from the politician. I'm willing to bet my house on that. It would have come from the politicians. And why do I say that? There are several factors. I'll tell you all about evidence, I'll tell you all about evidence. These firearms, let me see if I can pull up these firearms. These firearms were, the license to these firearms were renewed. They say, sir, you can't see it good, but this appeared to be last month, April. It appears to be, this is one of the license, renewed in April of 2026, right? So I'm saying that one of the reasons I'm advancing that this thing had to come from the politicians, because the police, if you knew that the people shouldn't get gun, would not have renewed the license. So the police renewed the license, as is a routine and normal thing. And then at some stage thereafter, the politicians decide to continue to persecute. So they say, go and take back the gun, right? They say, go and take away the gun. And they say, let me read what the letter says. The letter is captioned, notice to show cause on temporary temporary surrender of the firearms. I'm going to analyze this to you. I'm going to analyze for the purpose of the police and the politicians and the lawyers and all them listening. Because I remember I may have told you this before. When I was in Barbies, I revoked the firearm license of a gentleman on the advice, right, of the misleading advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions. And I say misleading because it was a case where the person was the owner of 2 firearms. He had license for both. He had license for, I think, a rifle and a license for a pistol. He was an ex-police, can't remember his name now, Indian man. He went at number 2 there, just over the bridge, and sleep with some woman. And then when he wake up the morning, the gun, can't find the gun. And then by the style, they tell a certain bishop, what they tell certain, when you go and you make a mischief, get up and go your way. Get up and go your way. But this man did not know that. So he did not get up to go any place. He dropped asleep. When he woke up, the gun gone. He reported to the police. We investigated the matter. Matter was sent. The file was sent to the DPP for legal advice. And the advice was to revoke the license for both firearms. That's the one that disappeared because it's automatic. And I explained that in a little while. That is automatic. And also revoke the license to the one that was lodged at the station. The man moved to the High Court and the man challenged the decision to revoke the one that was lodged with the police. And I remember he was called there in the court, Justice William Ramlal was the man. He ruled in favor of the man. He said, but Commander, you can't do that. You ain't got no justification. He said, even if you have justification, you have to go through a process. There's a right to be heard. This man was not given opportunity. He wasn't given the right to be heard, and he went through that. Because I have said, and this is the enlightenment for the commanders. I know they're listening, man. They're listening. I know they're learning. I don't want no payment, because if you are giving money, the next thing I will say is obtaining credit by fraud. Once a firearm has been issued to someone, and the firearm is reported lost, it is automatic revocation of that license, automatic, regardless of the circumstances. You have to revoke because the license relates to a specific firearm. And if you no longer have that firearm, you can't have a license for it. The circumstances might allow for the person to be reissued with a license, but it's have your license for the next firearm. This firearm, the license has a serial number. It is related to that specific firearm only. So once a firearm is lost, reported stolen, or anything like that, it has to be revoked. The license to that firearm has to be revoked. So we understand this thing clearly, man. All right, coming back to this matter now. Hear what the letter says. I got a little fine, so y'all bear with me. If you see me picking corn, don't laugh at me. The letter is addressed to Mr. Azuddin Mohammed. This one, I suspect one would have been addressed to the father as well. Yeah, share the life, man. Share. I walking up. I tell you all I wear me pink shirt this morning. Right? And when I wear me pink shirt, I was there in the mood. I ain't wearing a card to somebody say, well, me, I got no jingy draws. That is a commission them. Not for me. Right? All right. Hear what it says here. Our records at the Guyana Police Force indicate that you are the license holder of the following firearms, all issued by the Commissioner of Police. And the firearms are listed, 3 of them, right? Then everyone goes on to say, so this is the reason that is advanced for the action taken yesterday. The United States Department of Treasury, Office for Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, in collaboration with Guyanese law enforcement, has conducted an investigation into your business network operating within and outside of Guyana. Consequently, you have been indicted in the United States District Court of Southern District of Florida for conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud, mail fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Hold on, let me pinch it and read the rest. In light of these serious allegations, you are hereby required to show cause in writing why your firearm license should not be revoked in accordance with Section 18A, Some 18.8A of the Firearms Act, Chapter 1605. Furthermore, you are required to immediately surrender all firearms and ammunition currently in your possession, along with the corresponding license, to the police officer delivering or the police officer serving this document. And then the person signs and so on. We got a lot of things wrong with the process. As I've said, this is not something initiated by the police. Police are just carrying out orders, even though the orders are illegal, unlawful, unconstitutional. Because this is property, and you can't seize a man's property just so. You cannot seize the property. And they're saying that this action is taken as a result of this, the Mohammeds, or this particular opposition has been indicted in the United States of America. Well, let me remind y'all, the man indicted in a foreign place or anywhere he's indicted, the Constitution of Guyana, he's a citizen of Guyana, and the Constitution affords him the presumption of innocence. The Constitution affords him the presumption of innocence. So the man indicted will seize the property because the firearms are property, you know. The firearm that you're talking about that is seized the property. More so, as we said, these licenses were renewed last month. And let me say this, since you're going to get a chance, because I know you have a lot to say too. The only justification the police can have for seizing the firearm is if between the time the firearms were licensed last month and the time yesterday they went there are reports of misuse of the firearm or committed some crime or something like that between the time it was licensed. Because if you licensed in April, you ought to have been satisfied then that everything was okay. So you renew the license based on that. Now, weeks after, you go and you seize saying that because of this indictment. When did the indictment take place? Think the indictment took place a long time now. Remember, it was in October last year that the extradition request was made last year, according to Nandlal, on the 30th of October. But we all know that about a month or two before that, we learned of the indictment in the Florida court. So put it at August 2025, indictment. Why did you not then seek to have the firearms taken away? Why did you not at that time say, well, all right, you get indicted? You remember, they closed the bank accounts. So they can't do no business. They cancel the security permit issued to this company. They seized all the firearms, 70 guns, I understand, yesterday seized. But they left them with their personal firearms. Azudin Mohammed 3, the father 2. Right? So it's then. Why, if you're saying that this is a result of the indictment, why indictment happened since around August, September last year? And since August, September last year, indictment, and you wait until arrival day to say you're going and take away the firearms? And I have something more to say, but let me take a breather and give CC an opportunity to address this thing. CC, let me hear what you have to say on this, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I watched it, the more I read it, especially that letter there, you're telling me that, hey, I must show a reason, a cause why the firearm should not be revoked, the license. And in the very next paragraph, you're saying that I must immediately hand over those firearms to the person who come up with this note there. So I must get a reason. And you are giving me opportunity for state any reason, but immediately I must hand over those firearms. They get something called the right to be heard. I got to get hearing. The right to be heard. And it started in Genesis. It started in the beginning when Adam and Eve, they pick and consume that forbidden fruit of the poisonous tree. The Lord, who was policing them, knew exactly what happened. And he didn't pass judgment upon them right away. He called them and asked them what played out, what happened. The thing is that you must hear the other side of the story. The right to be heard. And here's it in this letter. You're telling me, hey, come up with the reason why we shouldn't revoke the thing there. And in the very next line, you're telling me, I got to hand them over. So I ain't get no opportunity to respond. I remember the late and great Peter Britton, Senior Counsel, had a lecture to us on the right to be heard. I think it was Larry Lewis. Had him talk to senior officer, the right to be heard. I gotta go in my library. I think I might still find a thing there. And now you're saying also in the letter that because the person was indicted, and let me make it clear, I am not representing the Mohammeds. I don't care what happened with them. They're up on their own. That I was indicted in the United States. That is a territorial matter. To use a term by the authorities, territorial. What I get for do with me in Guyana for you take away my firearm because I was indicted in the States for some offense. They have jurisdiction to do that. And you know, the more you look at it, you know, that here it is. A long time ago, you mentioned the months, I was indicted and you don't take away no firearm. You wait, no. I ain't gonna take away the firearm. And then you're taking away all of the 70 firearms that I had in there for the security service. And even though that security service, they say we're gonna take away, you gotta give the person, write the person, and they gotta respond within 15 days. It's right in the life, 15 days in which to respond. They got at least 15 years. I mean, got time to respond. But here's it. Then in this current case, they had no time to respond. Letter, hand in the firearm. And if you look at the conduct of the police there, look them handling firearm. And then the man gone in the building and come out with the firearm. And I stand up there. Well, him because maybe he's a good man. But another man come in there, go in there, bring firearm and riddle all of them there. No proper security for the arms and ammunition. Gone in there, pick up one, come back, go for another one, pick up there, and the police stand up there like statues. And how they handle the firearm. So the whole thing is, as you mentioned, Paul, is politically directed. Police just carried out unlawful instructions, unlawful order, come from politicians. And we're going to wait and see what could happen. And then even if you hear this now, even if I want to appeal, I got to appeal to the president and nobody else. I can't do that for him. I got to appeal to the president if my thing is refused. That's it. So, to me, the whole thing is corruption, is incompetence. There's a play there. That if you want to take away a man's firearm, there's a process you have to do. You have to tell him about what be allegation made against him. And then you have to give him time to respond, the right to be heard, and as much time as possible. They're talking with the security service 15 days. 15 days for security service, then talk about thing. And if I'm going to appeal, I got to appeal to the president. And maybe there's where they are to come from. And I got to appeal to the president. Total nonsense.
Right. Well, let me say this because when you talk about the operational part, you know, remember that is my forte, operations. Well, let me say this in response to one of the students. Students say saying it is alleged, right? There are allegations that ex-convicts are in possession of firearm license. Not allegations. Yeah, I remember Gali Khan. Gali Khan was a deportee from the United States of America, right? The issue with firearm license, he was integrally involved in the Security Association, GAPSO, Guyana Association of Private Security Organizations or something. That he was involved. Gali Khan, a deportee, get gone. Aligned to the PPP, big 2020, he was there, big with the PPP. The man are going to shoot his girlfriend or his wife and so on, and then they say he attempt to kill himself and all this type of thing. So Toro is not only allegation, there are facts. Facts are there that people with conviction and people with dubious character, because once you could pay, once Jackie Opel comes, you get the thing. I saw something circulated on social media over the weekend where names are named amongst are mentioned. The all run-ins highlighted. This is an article with a photograph of a man, and they said there is one of the middlemen. So he contact you or you contact him, You give the money where it is, boy, you see some fantastic money, $3 and $4 million calling out. I don't know if this the blockage in the Straits of Hormuz sending up the price or the demand price of guns now, because that is what is being alleged. But you know, like everything else in Ghana, they're going to look at the messenger. They're not going to investigate that. They're going to look at the message. And that is why you have all this corruption. Let me say this. See, mention apart. I said before that under the circumstances, unless there is a report of misuse of the firearm from the time it was licensed or something like that, you have an authority. And even if there was a report of a misuse, even if there was a report of a misuse, or what is the correct procedure for go and get a gun, right? Maybe, because remember, if let's say you had an allegation, the firearm misuse in some particular way and so on, maybe you would want to call him in and say, bring in the gun because we're investigating this matter. He refuses to bring in the gun. You go and you secure a search, a warrant. You go and get a warrant because the gun then, if an allegation was made, could have been deemed exhibit in the matter. So you go, you get a warrant, you go and you search your gun. But when you're going out for this gun, oh my Lord, CC said, CC, my skin grew yesterday when I saw how the thing was being handled. And let me adjust this part before he slipped me. Because one of the students here this morning reached out to me and was highlighting the fact that it seems to have been a female police officer who was conducting the operation, and she wanted to know if that was appropriate and so on. Well, I see nothing really inappropriate with that, with the gender of the person carrying out the operation. What I saw there is the type of tactical arrangements that was in place. Now you got to seize this man guns. You would have known because they had a list. They were checking out the list. 5 guns this man get, including semi-automatic assault rifle, because I saw it there, including semi-automatic pistol, 45 pistol, a 45 caliber. That is what it is said in the thing. And that is the manner in which this thing is being approached. This man gone in the house to tell you bring your guns. Man go in the gun and I decide, well, this is it. Today's the day that I gotta go and meet my maker. So I loading up. I get AR-15, I get 45 pistol, I get other stuff. And I was come out blazing. You got to consider all of that. Man, they say, hey, I said I would have done that. So they were going to say, I said that could have been done. So let me correct it. A man, you got to this man, say, I come for all the gun. In all, I believe this man, they under a lot of pressure, psychological pressure. You got for CC guns. Now the words you're going to left you exposed. Suppose this man decide, well, this is it. Today's the day I go in and meet with my maker. But I ain't going alone. I come with the thing like the drunk man singing the song. I ain't come alone and walk with the thing. And you decide you can come out and you come out blazing. These are the type of things you have got to consider. You just turn up there for thing the man gun just so then they go out or they're handling the gun. Somebody talk about gloves. I don't see any need for gloves and all of that. But I'm saying, not only this gentleman, Mr. Mohammed, you got to seize gun and them so you man are going and if he goes in at all, you are accompanying him and you are prepared in case anything goes sideways. You're accompanying him so that when you went in there, where is the gun? The gun is in some safe. All right. You taking the safe, but you are at the ready. So in case this man, you put yourself in a tactical position. Maybe you got it with body armor and shield and all them type of thing, ballistic shield and all of that. You are taking things too lightly. You're taking things too lightly. As CC said, Mr. Mohammed is a decent man. From all his action. I ain't all no brief for you. I'm saying based on how he acted yesterday. Right? Because the policemen put themselves in serious, in mortal danger in the manner in which this thing was approached. Now, let me go further. Right? This person, Azudin Mohammed, is no longer ordinary citizen in Ghana. He is the leader of the opposition. I mean, they do all sorts of things to prevent that from happening. They get Nadir on board and the delay. I remember the delay elections on the 1st of September, results announced shortly after, people named for parliament, and then the speaker didn't He didn't call in parliament for the people to be sworn in. It's a long, long story. By now, if you have been a regular student of this speaking out, you know the whole sequence. You know the sequence. All right. So they want him to be opposition. But at the end of the day, he is the leader of the opposition, a constitutional position. Whether you like it or not, that is what it is. He is the leader of the opposition. And the leader of the opposition, by law, has certain entitlements. Let me enlighten that. Then they know, you know. They know. The leader of the opposition, I had a document here. Hold on, man. Let me see where this document is. The leader of the opposition, has certain entitlement. Then, all a while, please. Earlier, I got it there. Let me tell you how some. And this is the law, right? And I borrowed this some article on social media, right? Under the Leader of the Opposition Benefits and Other Facilities Act 2010, the opposition leader is entitled to full-time security service at his official place of residence to be provided by the Guyana Police Force. Mohammed has stated publicly that this has not been provided. Then he goes, I said, the cabal has simultaneously declined to furnish him with Guyana Police Force security and moved to remove his personal means of protection. So where you have a man, wherever, and I agree with this part in particular, here we have a man, so here we have a man, whatever one thinks of him, who holds a constitutional office, living without state protection, and now without licensed personal firearms. Right? If harm were to come to him, the question would be, who bears moral responsibility? Would such heavy-handed, let me read that back. Who bears moral responsibility and should such heavily handed in the thing little corrupt, the little mix up here, right? Weeks after taking office, Mohammed said he had not been provided with state security or a vehicle, which he's entitled to. The government responds, essentially telling him he didn't know what he was entitled to. This is Gail, the assessor. Said he wasn't owed personal security, just security at his office once he designated one. Since the beginning of this entire saga, a blatant pattern exists. The government has been using law enforcement as a one-way tool. You can dislike Azzuddin Mohammed. You can think he's guilty of everything the Americans say. You can believe every so-called press release, word for word. And you can still look at the sequence and see what it is. A government using the machinery of the state to dismantle an opposition leader piece by piece, his business, his money, his freedom of movement, his security, and now his ability to protect himself while hiding behind legal processes that it refuses to explain publicly. I concur. Whatever you think about Azzuddin Mohammed, whether you think he's guilty of all the allegations in the United States, because remember, the allegations in Guyana were withdrawn. So there are no allegations against him, criminal allegations against him in Guyana. They're withdrawn. All the charges and so on were discontinued. So you have that. Whatever you may think of him, he is the leader of the opposition. And I am saying, and that is one of the things they do, you have to look at the whole thing in its totality. So next time you get some other leader of the opposition, you set them dangerous precedent this, take away your gun, so you ain't got no protection. You ain't providing protection to his residents. Gail Teixeira said, well, he ain't entitled to his residence, he's entitled to his office once he designated which is his office, they have to get security. Well, it's in the interest of the state. I would think, well, let me rephrase that. The state should have an interest in the protection of Mr. Mohammed, the leader of the opposition. Because if anything were to happen to him, God forbid anything happen to him. God forbid. You know where the finger's going to point? You know where the fingers are going to point. And let me say this too, before I bring back CC again, let me say this too. You take away the man gun, big public display. Everybody know now he ain't got no means of protecting himself. He has alleged that he's been followed all around by special branch, which in itself is a big concern and a big worry. That is what has been said. We all know that he goes all over the country meeting with people and so on. So now perhaps he's even more vulnerable than he was before. Is that by design? Is that by design? Is that the intention to leave him vulnerable? So one, he can cut back on his frequent visits around the place because of fear for his security. Or you want to have him exposed so whoever wants to do him harm can do him harm. These are questions that we have to look at, We're dealing with devious and devious people. Is it that we take away gun? Public displays. Everybody know that Azudin now don't get no gun. We know that the security company had at the large all the gun. So he's now more vulnerable than he ever was. Will that now result in him scaling back on his visits to all, especially places where the PPP supporters have been hostile to him? Is it? Is that one of the reasons for him to scale back? Or is it you take away gun, so now he's become vulnerable? So if we have people who want to do harm, can be more emboldened because they have a frightened now, you can shoot back or anything like that. You never get a gun. You never get a gun. Is that it? And let me say this too. Yeah, I believe I am not that I believe, but can be a setup. And let me say this, Let me say this. Nobody ever tell, let me be fair to them. Sometimes you're not going to tell nobody do as you did Muhammad harm. You're not going to say, hey, go and do this to him. But you have some sycophants who can decide, all right, now that he think, I can do, because I believe my boss there, my handlers would want me to do that, so I can go and take some action against this gentleman. We are living in some dangerous times. And let me say this too. Mr. Mohammed, and this is free advice. I hope your counsels and all them listening, or somebody will tell them. This is free advice. You don't want to pay me, don't ask to pay. If Azudin Mohammed want to attempt to give me or to support speaking out financially, oh God, they're going to come down, they're going to say we're taking sanction money and all that. You have to be extremely, extremely concerned that now your firearms are in the possession of the police. Let's hope and pray. And I'm telling you to hope and pray. When you go to masjid on Friday, hope and pray, that we don't suddenly hear that the guns, your firearms, are matched to some crime scene. Let me repeat that. Now that the police are in possession of all your guns, they got possession of all. Your pistol, your shotgun, your rifle. Let me hope that them ballistic exports that we get and suddenly decide that someone in the pistol or the rifle match some ballistic evidence at some crime scene some time ago. Let me hope that. Because I know now that they have it, all sort of magic can happen. Not only magic, what does make cocaine disappear and turn flour and all them type of thing. Magic can happen. So I am saying to you, you have to be concerned about that among other things. You have to be concerned about that among other things. Let me bring in CC for him to say some more on this matter. CC?
Yeah, Paul. The weapons that they took away, they seized. I wonder if those were some of the weapons that Mohammed said were in Freedom House. Remember you open your mouth and say, hey, they had weapons in Freedom House and they had weapons protecting members of the PPP. Gotta be careful. And then maybe the intention is that to curtail its political movements. Because he's been getting all over the country. We didn't expect him to go and skinning up the government with videos, with recordings. Perhaps they can't take it no more. So they say, take away your gun there. You're gonna be afraid to move about the place. You can move about the place and do any political work. And remember too, that the same Mohammed was in the belly, deep in the belly of the PPP. So perhaps he gets secrets to them. And all sort of things happening. So take away guns. You can't go away because you're afraid by it. Let me go away. No. Something gonna happen to me there, as the case may be. So other things we gotta look at what really was the motive for taking away those guns. Some of the same guns were maybe had been in Freedom House. Some of the same guns that they were using to protect the PPP leadership prior to them coming into government. Let's wait and see.
Well, we have to always remind people, because, someone has come. I'm not dealing with the messenger, I'm dealing with the message. Because someone has come and say, that's other thing. I remind you that Azudin Mohammed, by his own admission, and his father, they were tight with the PPP, they were tight. So all the time that people were being repressed and oppressed and victimized and so on, they were part of that clique. They were part of that cabal. So, they say what goes around comes around. But I got to remind you all too about Pastor Nehemiah's poem. I have it somewhere. And that is the reason why we should all speak out against some of these injustices. Whoever it is meted out against, we should make sure that we highlight. Because today for you, tomorrow for we. And this corrupt government there, they show that anybody who they believe not support them, they're going to make use of the state resources, the police in particular, to come after you. We know, CC, we know this thing, because we've been there. They do it to us. They came viciously after us. We know that, right? And let me say again, the harassment and the vindictiveness, it is clear. Don't let me sugarcoat it. It's harassment, it is vindictiveness, right? And let me say this, as I said, Commissioner of Police and them. Everybody know is a commissioner out of received information and pass it on to the operational ranks to do that, right? And this further erodes what little confidence people might have in the police force. The image of the force. Because anybody, whether you like the Mohammed, whether you like the PPP, whether you like whoever you like, when you look at the sequence of events, it cannot escape you that it is political persecution. It cannot further eroding whatever little image the force has. Further eroding. And let me say this. If this is not political persecution, I don't know what is. If this action, among the many actions, is not political persecution, I don't know what is. I don't, as we said, by their own admission now, the reason they said to take away the gun is because he was indicted in the United States. And the indictments were handed down by the grand jury since around August, September last year. Since last year, around August, or perhaps even earlier than that, the indictments were handed down. They didn't do nothing. So they didn't take away the guns. The firearm licenses were renewed this year, according to the records. This year, they renewed police and nothing. But all of a sudden, somebody wake up and instruct them, go take away guns. What would be the reason behind that? What will be the motive? Is it to curtail his activities? Because regardless of what I say, he's becoming more and more popular, in my view. He's going around the place, he's interacting with people, he's skinning them up, as you would say. He's exposing them, right? And they can't be comfortable with it. So therefore, take away your gun, maybe you feel less secure, you can go about the place. On the other hand, take away your gun, so he becomes more vulnerable. So anybody who wants to harm him can now go and do that. I'm warning them, because I have seen certain things, and certain people might be rejoicing over the fact that the gun get taken away. Because remember, they got a lot of Spanish people and Ireland people around, They got a lot of Spanish people around. And I hear, let me say, I don't put it beyond them for go and say, and I'm going to say gun and say the government, don't put it beyond government supporters for go and try to make mischief. Then you hear, as a car crash somewhere and you get seriously injured, or you hear somebody say, as they didn't go for rob them and they had to defend themselves and therefore he is fatally injured. Don't put in beyond these people. I want in y'all. That is what the crystal ball. A man told me over the weekend, like the crystal ball is working. Yeah, it's working. Don't put it beyond them to manufacture. Well, they have created the environment by taking away the firearm. So don't put it beyond these wildcats out there to decide now that this is the time for us to act. Let me repeat that. By taking away the firearms, they have created a certain environment, security environment, or lack of security environment. And don't put it beyond them sycophants and them half crack and crazy people out there to decide that this is what I give me opportunity now, because you ain't get no security for do me mischief. That is why I want to say. And again, in closing this part of this thing, if anything were to happen to Mr. Mohammed and the Mohammed family and the thing, it lies straight in the hands of the current administration. Anything were to happen to them. And Guyanese should realize that. If anything were to happen to them, they can't blame nobody else but the current administration. Nobody else. Right? Let me, if CC wants to say anything more on this matter, let me give him the opportunity. CC, do you want to say anything more? This is one of the matters can keep, I mean, today is we talk about it today, and we cover some of the main issues, but I suspect we're going to have other issues coming up in the coming days about it over the same matter, you know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well said. And it would be evolving. It will be evolving. Things going to happen. Although there might be some frightening things, but things going to happen, Paul.
Yeah, we are hoping for that. We are praying for that. But we know we're the wrong land. We're the wrong land, and next thing you know, things happening. And then people go try to distance themselves from it. But once you create a certain environment, when things happen, you can avoid the blame. And let me play this one for y'all. And this is so. Them, the corrupt people in the government, and this is to the Mohammeds too. They got something named karma. Karma. Let me play. A student sent this to me and said I should play it. And thank you, student. This is it.
Karma is real.
Mm-hmm.
You can hurt people and think nothing will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, everything comes back.
And when it comes back to you, it will be tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing in life goes unnoticed forever.
Always remember that karma. Nothing in life goes unnoticed forever. You come back. And I say, I want to be around. You know, when it come back, to sit down and see, well, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. And I got the next, hope then knock me out for playing this song. This is appropriate for them. Hope Facebook or YouTube and knock me. Let me play this one. Listen carefully.
You feel the rhythm, you love the rhythm, dance the rhythm, upset the rhythm, you love the rhythm, you feel the rhythm, you dance the rhythm, upset the rhythm. I don't know, and I don't know, I near got people bad-minded so. I don't know, and I don't know, I near got people bad-minded so. If you try to reach the top, they will want to see you drop. And if you don't try at all, here they got people them a call you lazy boy. I don't know, and I don't know, I near got people bad-minded so. I don't know, and I don't know, I near got people bad-minded so. If you win jackpot, my friend, them would name you till it end. And when you're down and out, my friend, not even one of those boys would help you out. I don't know, and I don't know, I near got people bad-minded so. I don't know, and I don't know, I near got people bad-minded so. Them feel the rhythm, them love the rhythm, them dance the rhythm, upset the rhythm. Them love the rhythm, them dance the rhythm, them love the rhythm, upset the rhythm. I don't know, and I don't know, I near got people bad-minded so. I don't know, and I don't know, I near got people bad-minded so. If you try to reach the top, you don't try at all. Here you got people them a call lazy boy. I don't know why you got people bad-minded so. I don't know why you got people bad-minded so. You feel the rhythm, you love the rhythm, you dance the rhythm. Tell him Basie, you love the rhythm, you dance the rhythm, you love the rhythm. Upset my rhythm, you love the rhythm, you dance the rhythm, you love the rhythm.
The late Clancy Eccles, boy, in the 70s and late 60s and 70s. I don't know why they got people bad-minded so. You know, we used to change up the word. Instead of got people bad-minded so, we used to say all sorts of things. As little boy growing up in the late 60s and so on with Clancy Eccles and the song. That's what we have. You don't know why they're bad-minded so? Well, we know it's money. Money is the root of all evil, and these people we get, it's all about money. It's all about money. Now, I have a video I want to show you all. I have several, but I want you